Welcome to Kaumudy Global. One of the biggest reforms in the Indian military envisaged to achieve a lean and mean force, the Agnipath recruitment scheme, has become a law and order issue triggering civil unrest across the country. The Narendra Modi government has been trying to douse the fire, with first the military brass followed by the National Security Advisor having made appearances on national television in what looks like a desperate attempt at firefighting. Videos and pictures of those who claim to have been defense aspirants destroying public property and indulging in arson and rioting have come as a shock to the center. Meanwhile, the government has been in damage control mode, with widespread violence as protesting youth have been part of riotous mobs in several parts of the country. Is reduction in pension bills the real reason for the protest? While Agnipath has been hailed as a step in the right direction, there is no official word on the real intent, which is to cut down on pensions and salaries from the defense budget to give the much needed impetus to capital procurement for the defense forces. India today has learned that the long-term plan is to cut down the army's strength to under 11 lakhs from the current 13 lakh plus. This will be done in a phased manner over the next decade. It is felt if the army has to move towards being a modern force driven by technology, it cannot be manpower intensive, said a senior government official. It is estimated that after 10-15 years, the strength of the Indian Army will be somewhere between 10 to 10.5 lakh, and that figure could be maintained for years to come as the military looks to be a technology-driven force cutting down on manpower. With 75% of recruits having to leave after 4 years, the burden of salaries and pensions in the long run will also be reduced. Out of the total defense allocation of rupees 5,25,166.15 crore for 2022-23, the capital expenditure meant for new equipment and infrastructure developed is pegged at only rupees 1,52,369.61. Year after year, a chunk of the defense budget goes into paying salaries and pensions, affecting the modernization of the Indian armed forces. Effectively, only 30% of the defense budget can be used for capital procurement. In fact, the budget for pensions of defense personnel alone is more than that of revenue expenditure of critical ministries like health. The number of personnel eligible for defense pensions has increased rapidly over the last few years. The allocation under capital expenditure is meant to procure big-ticket weapons such as fighter jets, submarines, helicopters, and other modern military systems. Other than bringing down the strength to make the armed forces more effective by shedding the flap, this will also bring down the age profile of soldiers. The need to lower the age profile has been felt since the Kargil conflict of 1999. The Kargil Review Committee had flagged reducing the age of soldiers and making units younger. While the average age of a soldier in India is around 32, in the UK it is 25 and the US it is 28. There is a view that while the eligibility to get into the armed forces remains the same, it presents an opportunity to pick up candidates for specialized jobs. We can observe an individual for 2 to 3 years, assess his caliber and aptitude, and see what kind of job the person is best suited for. When he re-enrolls after 4 years, we can take on specialized training for the person, Air Chief Marshal Chowdhury said. The scheme is limited to soldiers, or what the military refers to as other ranks. According to the new recruitment policy, soldiers in the armed forces will be recruited initially for a period of 4 years, and only 25% of those will be retained after that. The eligibility criteria to apply is Class 12 pass for general duty and Class 12 pass for technical, while the age criteria is between 17.5 and 21 years. However, for the first year of recruitment, the age limit has been enhanced to 23 years to accommodate those aspirants who missed out as recruitment was on hold during the COVID-19 pandemic. This has created 1.06 lakh vacancies in the armed forces. With the new scheme, these vacancies will only increase, but sources say that it's not a problem as the long-term plan is to bring down the numbers anyway. The government has made it clear that the scheme will not be rolled back, but it could tweak certain aspects to douse the fire. As part of reaching out to the youth and giving sops, Defence Minister Rajnath Singh has approved a proposal to reserve 10% of the job vacancies in the Ministry of Defence for Agniveers, meeting requisite eligibility criteria. The 10% reservation will be implemented in the Indian Coast Guard, Defence Civilian Posts and all the 16 Defence public sector undertakings. The Ministry of Defence has said this reservation would be in addition to existing reservations for ex-servicemen. The controversial subject has seen several veterans voicing their concerns. While initially it was said the recruitment would be done on an all-India, all-class basis, there has been a change of stand on the existence of a new regimental system. Several regiments of the Indian Army raised during the British Raj have a history of several hundred years. With the new system, recruitment for infantry regiments of the Indian Army, which is based on regions, could change. However, the Army has now stated that there will be no changes. At the latest press conference attended by senior officers in uniform, Lieutenant General Anil Puri, Additional Secretary, Department of Military Affairs, said the recruitment process will remain unchanged and the traditional regimentation system in the military will continue. In the middle of all the chaos, 3 public interest litigations have reached the Supreme Court challenging the scheme. With the matter reaching court, the government has taken a stand that it can be heard on legalities before any action or directions are passed. The fate of the scheme hangs in the balance, but the real test for the government would be the number of applicants who turn up to be recruited as Agniveers. This is Anjana signing off. Do like and share this video. For further updates, subscribe to Kaumudy Global.